Welcome to Deb Talk with your host, Deb Darling. On this pod, I'll be asking the hard questions that life throws our way. What some are scared to talk about and others wish they did. Sex, cultura, kids being assholes, overeating, butt sex, shitty jobs, and so much more. I'm on this journey of getting to know myself and others. So come join me! Welcome to Deb Talk with your girl, Deb Darling, and I am here with my guest, Mr. Jason Carey.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome.
Hello there, welcome. Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm excellent. Just dealing. This is QW9 as I call it. It's quarantine week 9, so just hustling and enjoying.
How are you holding up?
Huh?
How are you holding up?
Excellent. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're fake open. We call it fake open because like the governor, he just spoke today again, but opened some things up, but a lot of the stores are still closed. People still have the right to be like, I'm not opening. So that's why we're fake open.
Have you been out?
Yeah. I've been out. I've been out and about. I can't really sit still. I can't really sit still. So even when things were closed, I go driving around 285 around the city just to, open my mind and kind of think. So yeah, I've been out and about. Grocery store is the new club. The grocery store, Home Depot is the new club.
Yeah, we have a bike path across the street. So we go on the bike path almost every day. If it's nice out, we're outside. We're like, let's just go on walks because being inside will drive you crazy.
Definitely. And the weather's been nice. The weather's been really nice here in the A as it always is. So it's been sunny and 70s like pretty much every day.
I'm jealous. Over here, one day it'll be 70, beautiful, sunny. The very next day it'll be snowing. And like super cold. It's ridiculous.
You got to move immediately.
That is why I'm leaving in less than a week. That is why I'm ready to be out of here. I'm good.
Got to go.
So tell the people who you are, like your background, what do you do, your podcast, your show, what tell them who Jason Carey is.
Okay, so that is always a loaded question. Who is Jason Carey? Which is actually my hashtag. So if you follow the hashtag, you'll see a bunch of stuff. Who is Jason Carey? But I am a national spokesperson. I actually do for large brands. I'm the voice for large brands and events. I'm a host, an MC, of course, podcast. I started as it was radio and podcast. It kind of mixes. It kind of crosses both sides. Yeah, man. I started long time ago as a MC. Started as a recording artist, as a rapper first, and realizing the span of music and the way you can put it into music. I'm an actor as well, so you can put it into movies and all those things. So I started doing that as well, and that kind of grew. The host side grew, so that's where my bread is definitely buttered on the host MC personality side. So large events across, I travel all around the world with this voice.
Yes. And when did you know this is what I want to do and I'm going to do it? When did you know you were good enough to do it?
Probably immediately, because how I got into, let me say that differently. I had one of those, I always tell people this, I had one of those mothers that says, my son will do it. No matter what it was, my son will do it. It's time to speak in front of people in church, say the welcome, whatever, my son will do it. And she made sure that I spoke in front of people so that, because one of the number one fears in the world is public speaking. She didn't want me to have that problem. So she said, you're going to speak as much as possible in front of as many people as possible. So that started as a child. I started acting when I was like 8 years old, started performing when I was like 14 as a rapper. So that, that was developing. I got a commercial early age, and same thing started developing early. So that was the early part. When I transitioned a little bit more, to answer your question a little better, I had already had that experience. I had performed in front of 10,000 people before. You know what I'm saying? So it's like 100 people ain't nothing. 300 people is not anything. And so I started doing that, and to the moon. To the moon. It's taking off. So the latest thing that has taken off probably in the last 3 years is on the wedding side. The wedding industry is a whole other untapped industry, I thought. And so I'm a wedding host, professional wedding host. I host weddings, like 50 weddings a year, and turn them upside down.
How has that business, with everything that's going on, how has it been affected?
Tremendously.
I bet
everything I do is contingent on gathering people, and that's the one thing we can't do is gather people. So I've definitely had to try to figure it out a little different. To answer your question, though, the weddings, a lot of them moved to 2021. Some of them have moved to the fourth quarter, but because the venues are closed, but these deposits are already down. So the venues closed. Some of these caterers not coming out. So you're dealing with a lot of different moving parts when you're dealing with a wedding. So we're just kind of waiting. Me and my wedding DJ Tay, we just wait.
Nice. And is it worrisome at all that with everything that's going on, like health wise, or like do you ever get nervous that your gatherings and all that will be affected, like even in 2021?
Yeah, I am. It's two sides for me. So there's a little bit of concern because that's my livelihood, is actually these events happening. Major festivals got canceled, South by Southwest, the Essence Festival, all those major things that I was going to be part of got canceled. The Masters, all of that stuff. So that's concerning. That part is a little concerning, but I know it's going. Number one, it's going to come back because America is dependent on entertainment, big time. So I know it's going to come back. So that's one. The second side of that thing is me. I'm kind of I'm real cerebral. So to me, it's like a big equation to me. You know what I'm saying? It's a word problem. You got to figure it out. Like, all right, so you can't do that, then can you do this? And it's like putting it all together. I'm a hustler, so just figure out the new hustle and the new angle. So that's what I've been doing this whole time. Merchandise been selling more podcasts, which I didn't say that earlier. I do have 2 shows. Running the Point with Jason Carey is one of my shows. You can find it on my website, jasoncarey.net. And the other one is with my partners, with my friends, called Minds of Mischief, distributed by IBNX Radio. And we do that every week. And that's kind of crazy. It's the Mischievous podcast.
So now I want to ask if you can tell me a little about both podcasts.
Okay.
So the one by yourself and,
So how this whole thing started is I started from everything I do offline, I went to do traditional radio. And when I went to the traditional radio route, the program directors that know me, I work with all the major personalities on air. And they said that you're great, but you don't have any radio experience. And I said, word, I'll be back. So I went and created a radio show on IBNX Radio, which is a internet radio station. And did that, me and my cousin and I did that for a few years. And then I started sending my resume back out to the radio stations. I was like, all right, now I got the experience, right? Because, they're looking for 3 to 5 years of experience. So at year 3, I started sending it back to them. I actually got a hit. But anyway, just to stay on this path, that's how that started. And it kind of just had to shape itself. And now we got it to the right place where it's 4 of us on there. And that's the whole story behind how everybody got there. But it's 4 of us on there. And this is the Minds of Mischief one. We changed our name to Minds of Mischief, and
what was it before?
It was JC Squared, and that JC Squared still is the promotional company that my cousin and I run. But that was the name of the show because that's our initials. It was just he and I on the show. Then we added other people and needed to have something that was more inclusive of everybody on the show. So Minds of Mischief. We're 4 mischievous guys that are really cerebral. So when you listen to the show, it's like a morning show with like a morning radio show with through a podcast form. It has that same flair. It's a lot of humor, a lot of information. So you're like, when you do, it's a formula. When you're listening to it, you're learning stuff, and you don't really realize because you've been laughing for an hour. So at the end, you're like, man, they talked about so much, but they're crazy, and I can't wait to get more. So I can't wait to get more. So anyway, doing that doing that show, it's so silly though. There's another part of me that needs to show that intelligent side, because I needed to show a different side of me. So I created the other show, which is Running the Point with Jason Carey, which is called, it's the Intelligent Podcast. So now on that podcast, I get to have conversations with people I either respect or I'm intrigued by. And sometimes some episodes is just me ranting, because I might have a point that I don't need to get off, because that's kind of that's how the name comes. Running the Point. I'm a point guard. I play basketball. I'm a point guard, but the point is my point of view as well. So that's kind of like a double entendre with the show. So that has come along. I'm on ATL Podcast Network, which is one of the top podcast networks in the Southeast, and my show was ranked one of the top shows in the Southeast. And we get to, I'm in season 4 of that.
That's
and
dope.
We having a ball, man. Everybody from Rodney Perry, National Poet Dichotomy's been on there. I've had a couple actors, and just a lot of people get to come on the show. It's a wide range of individuals, but it's a good time. It's a good time. And people, I got a text this morning, matter of fact, someone said that the last episode, they've listened to it 3 times, and it really helped them. And that's really the point. That's really what I wanted, was to, because there's things we need to talk about sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I wanted people to listen to that show and either start a conversation or learn something about themselves or about other people, and that has happened. So that's been great.
That's great. I feel really privileged and very grateful to have you on with all of your accolades and achievements. Like, thank you so much for agreeing to come on. I'm so happy.
You're welcome. You are so welcome. Hey, that's how you do it, man. I think you know, everybody has a level, but you reach to the side, to the left, to the, you know what I mean? You reach and connect with each other. There's people that's listening to your show that don't know who I am. And so hopefully they'll learn, and vice versa, you know? We're going to swap it out. You'll be on my show, too.
Do you have Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't say that one. So just so people can get
Jason804. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything. I'm definitely on Twitter. I went back to Twitter heavy, and I'm having a ball. I love Twitter, man. Twitter is like having someone's phone number for real, because you can get to anybody on Twitter.
Really can get to anyone. Like, I've been very fortunate to like be able to be in contact with like Rick Ross and a bunch of porn stars and a bunch of just people in general. I'm like, this is great. Like, I love Twitter. Today's actually my Twitter anniversary. I turned 11 years. So
11 years. Well, happy anniversary. Anniversary.
Thank you. Well, that's dope. And as you all can see, I have an amazing guest on today, and I am so excited. So let's slide right on into the weekly inquiry. Mm-hmm. And that is, do you need college to be successful? What is your take on that?
You know, that's a heavy question. It can be, because I think I went to college. I have an engineering degree. I worked as an engineer for 6 years. I went to North Carolina A&T State University, Aggie Pride, in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I came out, and it really, that's just how you was raised, the American dream, you know, the American path. Go to school, get a job, a kid, 3.5 kids, and a picket fence and a dog. You know, that's the whole, hey, start at a company and work your way up. And the world don't work that way no more. But it worked like that for our parents. And so that's the thing they kept pushing. And this is the thing they keep pushing in these schools. And it's really unfortunate to me that the curriculum changes so slow when the world moves so fast. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what I have, that's been my experience just watching it. And I've substitute taught before, I told you when I left corporate America, just one day I decided I wasn't going back anymore because I was performing. I was in it. You know, I told you I was a rapper, so I was in Atlanta on TV and doing also. You know, I had.
How are you still getting up every day, going to your corporate job
That
and
was
being
the
like,
problem.
I don't even want
That was a problem. Like every weekend, I'm like, I'm a superstar. I'm with all these people. You know what I mean? I was on MTV when they were still doing stuff. I was like, and then I go to work on Monday. You talking about why am I late? I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? But I also was like, there has to be. This can't be the end of life. Like, go to work, get up, go to work, get up. You know what I mean? Just that process. I was like, it's got to be more to this thing, especially where I was working. I worked a lot of hours, made good money, but I was working a lot of hours, and it's just like, this can't be the end of this thing. And I got all this talent, so I'm like, I can't. I don't want to get older and regret it. So I said I could try. But it was tough. So it was tough getting up every day. So when I made that decision, I was like, now, I tell everybody, anybody that ever listens to me, I tell them that I left too early.
Why?
I left too early. I didn't know what I didn't know. So I always tell people that, like, that plan, like, even like now, think about people who left their job at the end of 2019. It was like, I'm going to go forward with this business. Just think about that. You know what I'm saying? And just, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. And you don't know, at that time, I just didn't know how long my money was going to go and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know. And how long it was going to take for me to be successful. Even though I was already moderately successful, but how successful and where I can sustain myself is two different things. And so, I was talking a lot. What I can't remember what we was talking about. Oh, school.
Well, you were saying that you left too early and like all of that.
Well, I want to stay on your question because I don't want to take up all your time. I'll stay on your question. I said all of that to say, though, I learned that there's so much that they don't teach us, they being nameless faces, individuals, society, that they don't teach us that is available in the world. All the successful people I know, not every one of them went to school, and there's so many industries. Like, there's somebody that makes this cup. Now, granted, the person that's making the cup may not be the one that's making money, but the person who owns this company or owns the machines is eating, right? And they might not have went to college. Travel agents that were making a lot of money. Real estate agents that have made buku amounts of money. People that are in stock or day trading and that are making tons of money. There are so many people and so many different avenues of success. You know, it's mind blowing when you think about it. Like all of the things, because you think about this when you go to school, they tell you come out and be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a nurse. You know, there's like 5 to 10 things that everybody's like, oh, what you gonna be? You as a kid when they're little, well, I'm gonna be. But you don't tell them that the world is huge. The world is huge. I've made a lot of money traveling around the world hula hooping, not playing. Hula hooping. Thank God for Playdate, started by Imari Havard here in Atlanta. It was his brainchild, and we've been able to take that concept of Playdate, which is an adult game night on steroids, and apply that to some of these companies and travel around the world. Hula hooping. I'll show you pictures. Hula hooping. Nobody told me I could do this. Nobody told me that I could hula hoop and grab a microphone and tell jokes and you know what I mean, and make a living. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And have the freedom that I want to have. So no, if I had a kid right now, we would have been talking about this. But you know your kid, you'd be like, you saying you want to be a lawyer, be like, you don't even have the patience. You know what I'm saying? And you can't tell them. This is the hard part. You can't tell a kid you can't be anything. You know what I'm saying? But I also think that it's up to you, because I get mad at what they didn't tell us growing up. There's so much about the world that we weren't taught because they were protecting us. And I think that's crap. We got to stop doing that to a level. And I believe kids need to be kids. And my dad used to tell me, hey, you're going to be adult for the rest of your life. The longest part of your life, you're going to be adult. You can be a kid for the amount of time that you can be a kid. Because 18, 19 years old, you're not a kid no more. Let's call it 21, you're not a kid anymore. So So there's so much that they didn't really tell us. There's so much that they didn't tell us. And I think that with that being said, knowing that, I know that success, quote unquote success, because that's the other thing. The question is defining success.
Mm-hmm. To each person, it's something different.
Correct. So many people define success. Oh, I got a big house. And I'm like, you know what? I had a big old crib and then I downsized. You know why? Because I didn't need all that. You know what I'm saying?
You can have all the money. I was just talking about this yesterday. You can have all the money in the world, and if you're not happy, are you really truly successful? Like you could cry in a Bentley, but you still crying. Like it doesn't matter.
Why I left, because I was not happy. I was at work every day, and I am not having a good time. Mm-hmm. And that's with anything. I vowed when I was 16 years old, my first job, bagging groceries for a food line, and I used to like dance around with the broom and make jokes and just have a good time. And I made up my mind then, which people think I'm crazy when I say this, but I made up my mind then that I'm not going to do anything I'm not having a good time. I refuse to not do a job or whatever and I have a good time because it's possible. Mm-hmm. It is possible to do it because I see it. I've seen it now so much because just traveling around the world that it's possible. So why are you going through the people that be like, hate your job, quit then. Quit.
That is so funny that you say that because I say that all the time. I'm like, I will never stay at a job if I'm miserable. Like, I'll never stay at a job if I'm not happy. That's why if I go out and somebody does not give me good customer service, I'm like, you chose to do this. You chose this path. Now, if you don't like this, leave. Because I am not paying for a service for you to be mean to me or rude to me or any of the above. Like, get out.
Go do something else because there's so much to do. Mm-hmm. There's so much to do. I mean, there's a guy that goes around and builds extensions on homes, and there's a guy that, you know what I mean? It's so much. It's just mind-blowing the amount of things, you know what I mean? I've done a little bit of everything, and I've sold everything. I've hustled and sold clothes, and you know what I mean? I've done everything. Not everything, but I've done a lot of things. And you gotta be careful when you choose your words. Everything is a huge word. But I've done a lot of things, and it's just too much to do to be out here, like, miserable about it.
Yeah, I just left I used to be a paralegal. Mm-hmm. So I left the law office and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I left more so because of the quarantine. But then when everything was starting to open back up, because he's an attorney, but he's also like a tax person. So he was like, oh, are you coming back? And I was like, no.
Nah, I'm good.
And then I've just been because I've been working on a game. So I'm like, I've been working on this game. I'm working on the podcast. I do YouTube. There's so much I want to do that if I dedicate the 40 hours that I'm dedicating to that, to my game, to everything else I want to do, it might take me a little longer. And I'm very grateful that I have my mom that's going to help me for a bit. So I can do all these things. But I just know I can't go back to working a regular job right now. I have a lot of money saved, thank God, because like I've been very, very, very blessed. And I thank God every single day for the blessings that he has given me and the opportunities to save money and all that so that I can go ahead and take this leap. And with this time off, I've been able to do and create a lot of things. So I just know that now.
Congratulations on being able to create and continue to build even through this thing, man, because a lot of people have not had a chance to do that. So that's, I think that's
people
awesome.
Just don't know. I feel like people are too scared and they're too like, they're like, I can't do this. Like, I'm not working and that's it. And they don't see like, you can do anything you want. And if you just think outside the box. If you want to do something, go on YouTube, go learn how to do something. If you can't afford something, go the cheaper route and then slowly build your way to getting a better product with more money or whatever the case. People are just way too scared and they're so comfortable staying in their bubble that's
it.
Yeah, coming out of their comfort zone, it's like the unknown is the scariest part.
I think people need to create some uncomfortability for themselves. And that's one of the things that I did is when I left corporate America, I was prepared to lose everything. I said that to make it, quote unquote, make it, I am already mentally ahead of start here. My last album was called Mind of a Champion because I believe championships start in your brain. It's not because you're the best player. It starts in your mind. So with part of it, you being the best player, but it starts in the brain. So with that, I had to decide that I may lose everything. I might be homeless. And I had to be comfortable with being uncomfortable in order to move forward. And so even in my crib, I wouldn't put no pictures on the wall. I didn't want no level of comfort in the crib, because if I'm comfortable in the crib, then I'm going to stay in the crib. And want no money being made in the house. I need to get it out, especially at the beginning of the music side. And I don't think that's a mentality. People don't have, like what you were talking about just now. A lot of that is mentality. And a lot of that, it got to start here. And if you're not strong here, you're not reading the right stuff, not around the right people, you won't have what it takes to do that. And this is the thing. Everybody ain't got to be an entrepreneur. Everybody ain't supposed to leave their job, quote unquote. Some people are supposed to be doing exactly what they're doing.
And they're happy doing exactly what they're doing.
Exactly. This ain't, I tell anybody, this life ain't for everybody, because like something like Corona hit and it's complete uncertainty. This would shatter some people I know. That, like, the nervousness, the anxiety, oh my God, they would lose it. But it's three questions I think that is key to ask yourself as a hustler, or if you're trying to make some extra money, or you're just trying to make some money, trying to generate $1, is who do I know, what do I know, and what can I do? Or those are the three questions I always ask myself. Like, just in silence, I'm like, who do I know? What do I know? And what can I do? If you ask yourself those questions, you'll be like, oh, I got 2 hands and legs. I can wash cars. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have that mentality, but everybody just don't have that. Thank God my mom made me hustle when I was young. She always was like, you gotta keep a hustle. They can't take a hustle from you. And I sold bubble gum and pencils and everything.
I feel that. I started working at 14. And when I started working, it was at a dealer where I was just filing papers. It was my aunt's dealer, and she was like, at first she was like, you can walk my dogs because I bring them to work. And I was like, okay. So I would walk her dogs and I would come back. And then after a few months, she was like, do you want to file papers for me? And I was like, sure. Then she started giving me more money. And then after that, I turned 15. I started working at Dollar Tree. And people would look at me like, you really gonna work at Dollar Tree? I'm like, I'm going to make money on my own. And none of my friends around me were working. And I was the only one that was working every single day after school. So I've been working since 14 and I haven't stopped. Like, this is the first, with my first daughter, I stopped working for a year. And every single day I was stressed out because I'm like, not because I was taking care of a kid, but I was like, I can't sit down and do nothing. So then I started doing the YouTube videos, and I was like, well, this is interesting. Like, this is cool. This is something I'm not making money, but like, this is something that's more for myself and a hobby. And then hopefully at some point, and then I was like, I got to go back to work. And then I got into the nonprofit industry, but yeah.
Gotta hustle.
Gotta hustle. You can't stop working. You can't, and not necessarily at a job. Just you can't stop doing something.
Stop doing something. And that's something my parents always said. You gotta do something. You ain't gonna sit here. You gotta do something. So going back to needing, one of the things I will say about the college degree is a key for some industries. So like I said, you gotta decide what it is you want to do. If you just want to make money, then you really need to sit down and just kind of think about what things I enjoy so I can get paid to do it. But there are people, and you know what? I have a slight bit of envy for those people who have one talent, or like from the age of 7, it's like, I'm gonna be a doctor, and they just follow that path. I'm like, yo, that's admirable. That you, like, that's all your mind was on. I'm gonna be a doctor, and it was nothing else. You had no other focus, just doctor. Like, I played ball. I want to play pro baseball. I was a rapper, an actor. I did all these things. It wasn't like I was trying these things. I was actually doing everything. So that's like a buffet. You're just like, what I do. But for a person that just has that one thing to go after. So we're not saying don't go to college if you want to be an actor, or you want to be, I don't know, stockbroker. I don't know if you want to go study economics. I don't think you got to go to school for that. You go get certified, because I believe in certification. That's how the world has changed. The world has changed from that 4-year degree to, all right, I'm going to go over here and get this certification, learn how to program, and learn this, you know what I mean? Coding or what have you. And that ain't a 4-year degree. Sometimes it's 2 years. Sometimes it's 6 months. Social media manager can make $90,000 a year.
That is very true.
I'm talking about you got a high school diploma and a certificate. Mm-hmm. It's a 6-month program. It costs $1,000. You know what I'm saying? And right now, there's so many programs for free. There's stuff online, especially during this COVID. They were offering a lot of cheaper programs. So do you need a college degree to be successful? Just simply that question? No.
I don't think so either.
No, I just think everybody has to make a decision, though. That's where it comes down to self-awareness. People have to make decisions, and I think that's where people don't make good decisions. They don't know themselves, or they don't make a decision and kind of flounder through life.
I agree. To me, I don't think so. More so because I went to college and then I dropped out my third year, and it was because my mom moved. And when my mom moved, I went to a good school out here, Suffolk University. And when she moved, it was really weird. I started my semester and they were like, you're not registered. And I was like, what do you mean I'm not registered? And they were like, yeah, after the class, just go see the registrar. And then I went and they were like, well, you have to pay $2,500 to be able to start, or else you're going to be unregistered to all your classes. And I was like, okay. So I called my mom and I was like, hey, this is happening. And she had just moved. So she was like, Deb, like, I can't help you right now. Like, all my savings are going into this move, into the house, into all these things that she was buying brand new. So I was like, okay. So I'm going to take some time off and then see where to go from here. I took the time off and I never went back. Then I went back last year and I was like, okay, this is cool. Then last semester, I was like, all right, I can't really do this. I don't want to do this. Not that I can't, because I can do it. I just don't want to do this because right now, what I want to do has nothing to do with needing a degree. But after everything happened with the school, I worked my way up in a security company. I started as a security officer and I worked my way up to work in the office. And from there, I ended up being a supervisor at one of the sites and did all that without needing a degree. And I was like, okay. And then from there, I got into a nonprofit company later on. And that was pretty cool because, again, I needed a degree, but for some reason, I was fortunate enough to get hired and I was making really good money. And I was like, all right, so I really don't think I need a degree to do anything. Then I got into the law office and I was like, I really don't think I need a degree to do anything. And my mom would always be like, you don't need it maybe to get in, but maybe to make more money. And I'm like, I could see that, but I don't know, like this is the most money I've ever made. So the fact that I'm making so much money and I'm not even working OT or doing all this extra stuff, it's like impressive. But then I'm like, I'm making all this money, but I'm not happy. So like, no degree, I'm just not happy working here. Like I'm happy because I don't have someone breathing down my neck or anything like that. I get my job, I'm sitting at my desk and that's it. But I just always knew, I'm like, I can't. Then I always think of like all the people out there that don't have degrees. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, like a lot of people that are dropouts and they have.
I think J and B are just a whole nother thing though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's like lightning in a bottle. But yeah, right. I totally agree with you on say your Bill Gates and your Zuckerbergs. Again, very cerebral guys that push forward on something they understood and something they knew, and they got in early. I think that has something to do with your level of success. I would say also what I learned, to your point about the job, how I looked at my job. I looked at my job incorrectly. That's one of the things I learned, because I didn't look at my job, especially being an entrepreneur, one of the things, or just being independent or what have you, you always need capital to do something. Maybe buy lights and backdrops or whatever it is, and going to somebody is an option. And sometimes you like, I just need capital so I can get product. So I didn't look at my job as the capital builder, which I should have. If I had looked at my job as a capital builder, I probably would have stayed maybe 2 more years. I probably wouldn't have moved to Atlanta at that time. So that's, it's yin and yang there. But I think if we take that approach, because I got a partner who's a photographer, and his business has grown. I helped him along the way, just, ideas and things like that, but he's built his business. But he has a job. And he got a family and all that, but so he has steady income. But his job, his photography business keeps growing, and so but he's been meticulous about buying equipment and growing and kind of seeing his goal of when he wants to actually be able to do this full time. But he happy about his job. He's like, I enjoy what I do, and it doesn't interfere. I just shoot after I get off work, and I'm in a position at my job that if I need to leave in the middle of the day, I can. If I need to be out of town for a couple of days, I can. So I think that is the little piece of the formula that, again, nobody teaches you. I had to learn that on my own. Like, now I haven't had a job in 10 years, but if I had kept, now that particular job I worked too many hours. It would be hard to do what I do and keep that job, but a job could have helped in the early years when I was just trying to forge ahead and lost everything and had to sleep in my car and all that stuff. When I went through the actual trials and tribulations that I thought was going to come, having the job might have helped a little bit. So I say that to say I had a job because I had a degree. Now, granted, you don't need a degree to have a job, but because I had a degree, I had the level job that I had to make the amount of money that I needed to make to do the things that I needed to do, to travel, to buy, to distribute albums and things of that nature. So that's the other side of that coin to me, is that we just got to be smart. Just got to be smart. And you spoke about happiness. I think that's key to everything. I don't care if you are a trillionaire, like you said earlier, and you're unhappy. I'm telling you, something else is going to suffer. Something else is going to suffer. If you're in a relationship and you're unhappy, something else is going to suffer. It's like you got to make those decisions and be like, yo, although you may be a nice person, and sometimes you got to just choose you. And you got to be happy, because once you get your brain straight, you can think, you can answer those 3 questions that I said earlier, and answer them, and not be answering, well, who do I know? Well, I can't call them, because if I call them, then she gonna be mad. You know what I'm saying? You can't have those kind of things going through your head. So I got to clear your head and make great decisions along the way. So I don't think you need a degree, but I think don't stop educating yourself.
That's true.
Fact. Don't stop educating yourself. May not be a degree, but I believe in those. I believe in certification programs. I believe in reading. I believe in going to YouTube University. You know what I'm saying? Right. I definitely believe in continued. I got a stack of books. I'm always reading something. So although I stopped going to college, I didn't go back I started an MBA. I went for like a semester, and then I was like, all right. I had nothing to do with nothing. One reason I started was because it was something I said that I wanted to do. That was it. And I discovered economics class. I was like, man, I wish somebody told me about this early in life. I enjoyed that class.
That's funny.
Yeah, man. So it's life is like that though. I think life is just a lot. We gotta think, man. It's a lot of thinking and self-awareness, and a lot of times people just moving, living life. Just moving, and they're just making decisions based on the wrong things. Something outside, family. It's all sorts of variables that people make decisions on. I think you clear out the clutter.
Yeah. Clear
the clutter and make your decisions. I think you'll figure that out, because some people that's in college, they're still sending people to college undecided.
I know. I think that's that's such a waste of money.
You're still sending people to college, and you're like, well, I'm undecided. I'm gonna figure it out in this first semester. Why are you doing that? Because you might, after that first semester, now you owe these people this money for this first semester, and you realize, like, you know what? I've been teaching dance class since I was 15. I want to open a dance studio. You know what I'm saying? It might be. So I need to go that path. I need to be working on that. So maybe I need to go get a job, make some money, or go work up under somebody. You know, take the real estate class. Take 75 hours. 75 hours to take the real estate class, and then go take the test, pay your little fee, and now you're selling real estate. It's less than a year. How do I know that? Because I take real estate class.
Or cooking, culinary school. It's not that long either.
Come
And if
on.
you like to cook, there's no reason for you to be going to college. You should just go to culinary
Be a
school.
chef. I got a
Yeah.
cousin that's a chef. He has a whole chef culture. Even a chef culture. He's done a bunch of things. He's at the Super Bowl cooking for Tostitos. He didn't go to college for that. He just discovered cooking by mistake. Like, come on, man. It's just, I think that, so I don't ever want to bash college because I love my school, the things I learned at school. I enjoyed school, but I just think that it has to be a good decision. You have to, and know why you're going.
Yeah, know why you want to be there. Know what you want to learn, and that you actually want to do something with your degree. Don't just get something just to get it.
Yeah, I know people that went to all the prestigious schools in the world and come out with like history degrees, and I'm like, why'd you go to that school? You went to the top school in the state, paid top dollar. You got a history degree. You had no desire to teach or write books, or you know what I mean? Like,
I think a lot of people, like, especially when you're young, you go to school more so for the experience, and that's why they go so undecided, because they're like, well, I'm just going to be with friends, make friends, and go to parties and drink and see all these things, and that's why. But yeah, no, I definitely
which I think is part of life. I do think that you go there and you learn. I think I did a ton of growing up in college. You know what I mean? There was a lot of things I had to do on my own in college that I see people who didn't go to college, who stayed at home, still live with their parents or what have you, and then kind of, all right, now I'm going to get an apartment. Where they were at, they were behind me. You know what I'm saying? But I've also seen the other side where people didn't go to college, they stayed, they started working, and then they were ahead because they started buying homes and starting their family at an early age and all that kind of stuff, you know? So it's
everyone's route is different. As long as you're motivated and you're willing to like do what you want to set your mind to. Really
motivated.
Yes.
Motivated. That's a good word. That's a good word. People just need to be smart, man. Be smart about your decisions. Don't force people. I think there's still parents that are forcing kids to do things. Meaning, I believe that the kid needed to make a decision because they're just kids and they don't know. So it's like the decision I had when I graduated high school, they didn't tell me I had to go to college. I just always knew I was going to college. It was just like the next grade. It was just like going from the 8th grade to the 9th grade. I knew after 12th grade you went to college. But there are people who, the decision I had to make was you either going to college or going to Army. Which one you want? I knew that at 9. When you graduate, you're going to college, you're going to the Army, but you're getting out of here. That's the thing they told me all the time. You're getting out of here. And some people are like, man, that's harsh and this archaic thought process, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is now. To just they would have never just kicked me out if I didn't make a decision either way. But if parents have equity in decision equity with their kids, my parents ain't never put me in a bad position in my life. So if my dad said, hey, this is where I suggest you go, you ain't never told me nothing wrong before. I ain't listening to nobody else. I'm listening to you. And I think all of that starts early. I think, so it all works together. I think it's a system. It all works together. If you have not built any equity with your kids growing up, by the time they get that age and it's time to make a decision, they probably gonna make a stupid decision because you ain't never gave them a good decision to make in their life. Yeah. Or it never helped them with anything. My parents, like I said, I trusted them. And so I had 2 decisions to make. Army or college. College sounded a lot better than the Army.
Yeah.
Which ain't nothing wrong with the Army. I know some great people that went to the Army. Ain't nothing wrong with the military. Like, I had a nephew who needed to go to the military. He wasn't college material. Not college material. To this day, he never went, but to this day, I think that's where he should be right now.
Yeah, no, I always knew if there was one place I didn't ever want to be is the military or any type of army. I was like, yeah, I'm not built for that.
You don't strike me as the military type at all. I'm not saying there ain't pretty girls in the military, but I just
no. Well, let's move right along to the weekly shenanigans.
All right.
So this is where we discuss bullshit that we've seen on social media, this week or whenever. A story you've heard or seen, or an amazing meme, picture, anything that you thought was worth talking about.
You start? No, I'm starting.
I can start. So I saw a tweet from the official Desiree, and it said, "Women should be financially taken care of in a relationship. Your woman shouldn't have to worry about paying a damn thing. If you cannot afford to take care of a woman completely, don't date or pursue a woman until you can. The woman is the price, pay for it." I saw this and I was like, I think she started working when she was like 21 years old. And or she never left her parents' house, or she literally has been taken care of her whole entire life by her parents or men, because a hustler's mentality is never going to expect somebody else to take care of you or a man to take care of you. I saw this and I was like in complete shock. Like I said, I only stayed without work in 1 year and I was going crazy. The fact that my daughter's father was taking care of me, I was like, listen, no man has ever taken care of me. Yes, men have bought me stuff and things like that, but to pay for my bills, I feel uncomfortable even the thought of asking a man for money, let alone expecting him to take care of me. So that was my shenanigans of the week. I was like, what the fuck is this? I can't believe this. I was like, this is crazy. I need to put this down. So what do you think?
I think, I think the problem is in the words, man. I'm a wordsmith, and I think you gotta choose your words wisely. And like expectation, number one. I think you may have a standard, but just like you just said, to expect someone to do something, you get way more from me as a man. You get way more from me if you don't ask for it. Ain't saying that I wouldn't want to. Here, you can have this, you can do that. I'll do anything for you. But when you like give it to me, that's when the bill get real tight. I'm like, nah, I ain't got it. I ain't got it, because you keep asking for it. If I respond to every time you ask for it, what's that gonna do? That's gonna create a habit. And so, to your point, you said she sounded like she would start working at 21. Maybe she was raised like that, and all she saw her dad taking care of the house, but she didn't know the inner workings of their relationship. You can live with your parents your entire life and be as close as you can to your parents and still not understand the dynamic of their relationship, you know? And so I think there's a level of ignorance there.
Yeah, I think it's different though. Like if you're married or if you have a child in your home and you're taking care of the house, you're cleaning, you're cooking, you're that's a full-time job within itself. So yeah, maybe then you'll expect your husband to take care of the bills and take care of the mortgage, whatever it is. I get that, but to just everything else.
To go in like that? Yeah. I think just to go in like that.
Yeah.
Like, and so where there's a tinge of correctness, of being correct in her statement. One of the statements, she said, you can't afford to date. But she said, you can't afford to take care of a woman, don't date. I think if you can't afford to date, don't date. I think that is true. If you got to go out and ask how much it costs, count your pennies and all that, bruh, you should never ask her out. Bottom line, if you got to like count your coins, you ain't in a position to be dating nobody, or at least that person. Stop. I will. So she got a little bit of point there. If you can't date, bruh, stop.
Yeah, but that's if you can't date, not if you can't take care of a woman.
Now if you can't take care, if you can't take care of a woman, you come on, man. Yeah. I do think that men do. There are some. Y'all got to sit down and talk. I think that the communication comes down. People got to talk, because jumping out there. I do think that I've seen guys jump out there and be like, I want to marry you. And you wasn't in a position to marry nobody. You know what I'm saying? You was, and not even just financially. You as a person weren't ready to take care. Because I think taking care of somebody goes beyond finance. I think you wasn't ready to do that. And I've seen that too many times. Like, bro, this ain't what you want to be doing.
Yeah, people get so wrapped up on looks and not trying to miss out on like someone that looks so good and so great and all this good stuff. That's why they jump in it. and say I don't want to lose it to somebody else.
Yeah, that also sounds like somebody ain't been nowhere. If
Right.
you've been somewhere before, you realize how many people is really in the world.
Right. Like, I'm always just like, when people do silly things for like good looking people, I'm like, there are millions of people out there. So the fact that this one person got you like this, and it wasn't based on their personality or what they bring to the world, it's like, what are you doing? Like, there's so many people that look good and are great people. But like those people that are just, they look good and they're trash, it's like, for what?
For what?
Like,
That's exactly.
Makes no sense. Makes no sense.
Because there are a lot of good people. Contrary to what the news will make you believe, there are tons of good people in the world. So you can, tons of good dudes, tons of good women. It's easy to find somebody.
So. Right. What about yours? What is your shenanigans of the week?
It's something we talked about on our show this week, which is kind of crazy. You go to these places and in Michigan, in fact, that you talked about earlier, Michigan, to go into the store, you have to put on a mask. It's mandatory for you to go in the store. Mm-hmm. So it was a 68-year-old man who was arrested on assault charges because he did not want to wear a mask when he walked in the store. So when he was told by the manager that you need to wear a mask, he scoffed. And then he walked up to the manager and wiped his nose on her sleeve.
No.
And then walked out of the store. So he got arrested on assault charges for wiping his nose on her sleeve.
I would have also been arrested for assault charges because I would have whooped his ass right then and there. I would have been like, I'm sorry, respect your elders, but fuck that. Like, you're about to get this room up your ass.
There's so many. Yeah, this is what my partner said. It's like, we would have fought.
Yeah, right there. I would be like, square up.
So listen, this is the thing though, which is crazy about this is I think it was in California. I think it's a woman who is in jail because there's a video of them on the bus, her getting on the bus, and there's some kind of exchange on the bus with and it's a black girl and an older white man, and she pushes him off of the bus. He flies off the bus, bounces on the pavement. It was the funny part when you watch it. He bounced on the pavement. But the bad part is he died.
No.
Later. Yes, he died later. And so she is in jail now for like manslaughter or whatever charges because he died. So like that's the thing. It's like the dude that wiped his nose on him, you whipped it out, and then he died.
Right.
It's like, was it that bad with a nose? So it's like those two things. Exactly. It's bad. You know what I mean? Her whole life ruined you could see he said something to her. Mm-hmm. And she was like, who you talking to, old man? Basically, get off the bus. Because he was getting off the bus. He was passing her. And she pushed him. Which she shouldn't have never done. She was incorrect for doing that. But she had no intentions of killing him. And so he dies. And now a bunch of lives are ruined behind that. So that's what I thought about when I saw this thing with him wiping his nose. I was like, it would have been something. But now I got to think about what would have happened.
Right? What do you do? Like,
that's crazy.
That sounds insane. Oh,
it's
my
crazy.
God. Oh,
yeah,
God.
She pushed that man. He was much, I don't know, 68.
I mean, 68 is close to 70. If he was like 60, it's not that bad. But 68 is very much close to 70, which is close to 80. So
every bit of 68. Like my dad's 67, you would never know it. But this dude looks 68 and older. He got these hands.
I got the the old man strength.
Yeah, but that was crazy, man. The internet's crazy. There's a lot of stuff you see out there, and I actually saw that on Twitter.
Oh my. Okay.
Come out to Twitter, y'all come out to Twitter. There's some crazy stuff going on out there.
Right. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Well, how about the weekly check-in? And this is where we talk about a current event, and it could be something that you saw on TV or a movie or media, social media, news, magazine, whatever you've seen. You can go first.
So much, man. Being in media, I pay attention to everything. Mm-hmm. Every headline possible. I read some of the weird news too sometimes. So it's three things. But I'll run through them. The one thing is, where I want to start. Okay, so AMC plan, they're saying that they may not come back after this. The word is they're not going to come back. They're not going to be able to make it through this whole COVID situation. But now Amazon's talking about buying it.
Oh, wow.
Amazon's talking about buying AMC theaters. So imagine that Amazon is the great juggernaut. Now they're going to have Amazon theaters. That's crazy, especially with now independent movies can go straight to Amazon. So imagine if independent movies can go to Amazon. Now they can get theater. They can go in the theaters. That's hot to me.
Yeah,
so
that's really dope.
Yeah, so being an actor and a content creator, that's where my mind went immediately. It was like, yo, this, because I got some movies I'm on Amazon now. Just imagine how some of my movies could go there to win. But so that's one thing. I forgot what the second thing. Oh, second thing, here in Georgia, Governor Kemp, of course, open up the country. Open up the state. Because I live in Atlanta. Although I live in Atlanta, I still live in Georgia, and you got to remember that as a black man. They opened it up, and today, because the clubs were supposed to open this weekend, clubs and bars were supposed to be able to open up at 12 midnight on Friday. He came out and said today that clubs and bars will be closed until May 31st, and amusement parks were supposed to be opening up. But Six Flags is going to be closed till May 31st. But the restaurants now can go from 6 people at a table to 10 people at a table. And some of the daycares can have 25 people versus what they could have before. So slowly but surely, it's kind of like loosening a little bit. But that's a big deal because of the marketing stuff that I do for the clubs. We kind of lose that. Although I've done something to combat that with my other DJ, me and DJ Genius, from the club to the living room every single Saturday night, online on Twitch from 10 to 1 every Saturday night. We've been doing that for 8 weeks.
Oh, wow. Entertaining
people. It's a party online. We got music videos. It's everything. It's an awesome situation. So anybody that's listening, definitely go to and you still watch the clips. You can go to twitch.com/DJGeniusATL.
So definitely check that out.
Yeah. So and it's on my page. If you follow Jason 804, that makes it easier. It's on my page, Facebook page too. So we broadcast it, and that's been amazing. Surprisingly, people have. So thank everybody that has tipped or bought merchandise or whatever, because that's just be creative. We had to be creative and figure out a way. So anyway, the clubs are supposed to open, and they're gonna close down. So that was they're gonna stay closed through the end of the month. That was number 2. Number 3 is the big story here in Georgia is the Ahmaud. What's Ahmaud's last name? The big case.
I can't remember right now, but I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah. The jogger.
Yeah. So that's the big story going on right now. Again, like I said, I live in Atlanta. You still live in Georgia. Atlanta is is an island considered to the rest of.
How has your experience been being a black man in Atlanta or in Georgia?
Well, fantastic in Atlanta. Everything's black. Black city. True. So we have a fantastic time. That's the part what I love about Atlanta. And I have really I'm from Virginia, so it's not none of it's new. Even if I faced any kind of racism, I'm from Virginia. I've seen it. I've heard it. I play baseball, which is not always a bunch of black kids. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what league you play in. So, I played football against other cities that, other schools that didn't have the same makeup that my school had. So, I ain't surprised by somebody saying having a racial slurs, treating me different. I expect it, actually. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, I see the people that's surprised. They're like, why y'all surprised by any of this? None of it's surprising me. But the people that are surprised, I'm like, why? You ain't been out nowhere, I guess. Again, I've had the privilege of living in a couple places. So it hasn't been a negative effect for me. I love Atlanta. I've had a great time in Atlanta. I don't really deal with the rest of Georgia like time. I go to Augusta, Savannah sometimes, but outside of that, it's like
It's just there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the other big story, man. What's it called? Just some developments have happened in the last couple of days. Just talk about video coming out and how the law could help these guys get off. I don't expect nothing to happen. They got arrested. I really think that's the extent of it.
They got arrested because we saw the video.
Public.
They didn't
Exactly.
get arrested because they should have been arrested from jump. They're
exactly. And they
such
now
a sad story.
They paraded a prosecutor from Cobb County. She's a black woman.
Oh, I saw that.
And it's, to me, I just think it's a TV show. It's a TV show. So I think they parade her out here, and we'll see. We'll get a whole lot of fanfare, and then they'll get off. They'll get man one or something. You know what I mean? I don't see them getting arrested on a murder charge, and if they go to trial with murder, and again, we talk about words, murder, they'll get off. They don't get off on murder. They might get off if you try to charge them for something else. Maybe they gonna get off on murder because they're gonna tell me with no intent and citizens arrest and all this other stuff. It's a bunch of stuff that they're gonna get off.
Let's hope not. Let's not speak it into existence.
Hey man, let's hope not. But I also say that I don't know. It's a lot of facts we don't know, because just like when you see somebody get killed or somebody die, and this is a very unpopular opinion, but I'm used to saying something unpopular. What I don't know is I don't know that kid. Bottom line, I don't know him, yo. And I know some really messed up dudes that got nice pictures too. You put up their senior picture, they look like they ain't never done nothing in their life. You know what I'm saying? But I know them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say I hope that's not the case. And that's I know I'm talking to the world, but I just it's an unpopular opinion. But I would like to know more information. I'm not about this case. I'm up in arms, period, about the mistreatment of us, but maybe not that particular incident. It didn't take that incident for me to feel the way I feel. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have gone, that's like their chance to grab a picket, join the picket lines. I'm like, yo, activism is not a part-time job. Like, it's not a part-time job. Once you get into this thing, you got to be into this thing. And there's a lot of part-time activists going on out there. So
I agree.
I'd like to learn more.
I feel that. Well, my weekly check-in was, for the first time in history, 4 Black women are occupying the 2 top music chart spots, and that's Doja Cat and Nicki, and Meg and Queen Bee. And I thought that was super dope because both songs are really great, and all 4 women are pretty amazing. I love Meg, and I love Beyonce.
Of course.
And Doja Cat, she's there, and Nicki, she's cool. Like, so it's really, for me, it's Meg and Queen Bee that should be number 1 always.
And Nicki Minaj is on that song with Doja, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Doja Cat is actually, I wish the noise with the Move song, I'm a cow, like, I wish that didn't exist, because it's like, it's hard to take somebody serious talking about I'm a cow, you need some milk, I'm a cow. It's hard to take them serious, but then, like, if you read her story and pay attention, she's actually talented as an artist. But it's
she
like,
seems really dope. Like, her.
Yeah, get past the crap.
She's very, I don't know what word to describe her. She's different. She's kind of different, because at the same time, I think of Nicki Minaj, like, 5 years ago, when she first came out, and she was different. So
yeah, Doja Cat is she is quite eclectic as an artist, but she if anybody can get past the mess, you get past the mess, then you actually can discover it. Like, oh, she's actually all right. I'm gonna listen to her now. Kind of like, it took so long for people to listen to Lady Gaga because she had to get rid of all the mess, and she's always been talented. But now you can, like, listen to Lady Gaga and be like, oh wait, she actually can, like, she can sing and play the piano, and she's like an artist. Now she ain't got all the mess.
I never. Hold on 1 second. Hi, buddy. Yeah, can you go over there, please?
Come here.
Thank you so much. I love you.
Oh, Victoria, come on, mama.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I was never a super fan of Lady Gaga. Something about her, I just always, even with like, she had some songs, but even with the some songs, I couldn't get past it. I could
Can't,
not get past
can't get past the mess.
yeah, I'm like, you're too much. You're the whole meet to the awards. Like, you're so, yeah, like, what you doing? Like, come on. You're so, you don't have to be so weird, like, all the time.
Yeah, she's a lot. She was a lot. Now you like, no crazy makeup, no crazy outfits. You're like, you're actually a person.
I know. Now, like, I've seen her on American Horror Story, I think it was, and that was interesting.
And she was in Silver Linings, and then she couldn't be that. She had to be somebody. To be the person, whatever her name is, Rebecca. I don't know what her name is.
Rebecca.
You know what I mean?
That's funny.
You're like, oh man, I can see you now. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm all for showmanship. I'm a showman. I'm all for showmanship, but you know, sometimes people get lost in the showmanship. And for her, she was lost on me. I'm still not like a fan of her. I just know that she's a musical artist, you know. So
I agree.
Cool. That's cool though. You put out some stuff. What do you feel about that, man? It's a lot of music. Like, this is the time, I think, going back to your question about quarantine a little bit, about coronavirus, this time has found or kind of shown who is creative and who's hustling, who's really working. Like you see the artists that have come out with new music. You see the artists that got creative online. You know what I'm saying? Like yourself and myself, podcasters putting out content and never stopping. I didn't stop the whole time. Both shows I've been cranking out. So, but a lot of people like dead in the water. They couldn't do anything. So how you feel about the music though? It's like good music.
I think the music that's been coming out has been good. I can say I don't like. What do you think of the 2C slide from Drake? I thought he did that. I don't think that he is making music for older people anymore. I think he's sticking with like the younger.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say from Drake, because I'm a Drake rapper fan. I like when Drake raps, like he writes the rap and raps. I don't like when Drake be like this last project. Everybody like it. I don't like it because it's just he just throwing stuff out there. It's just a lot of it is just freestyle. He freestyling and he's like yeah. You get a lot of holes in his verses. I don't like that. When he raps and he really plays with his pen, I love it because he can rap. When he get into that other stuff, I agree with you. So the 2C slide was because of TikTok, 100% because of TikTok,
and like the 100%. TikTok generation and all that.
100% driven by TikTok. Yeah. But he said the funny thing is, the story behind the song is older. It's an older song, and he asked the guy 2C to create the dance, and this is the other thing. That's the dance. He asked him. He inboxed this dude out of Atlanta and asked him to come up with the 2C slide, and this is what you came up with. I am disappointed. I wouldn't even want no credit. The dude 2C, his action name is 2C. So I wouldn't want no credit for that. So, but he from his success with Shiggy last 2 years ago, I think that's what that
Shiggy's dope.
Yeah,
Shiggy's dope. When he first came out, like a couple years back, it's been like 4 or 5 years that he's really just like been doing things. I remember it was on Twitter. Was it Twitter or Instagram? I think it was Instagram, writing to him, and I got a response, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then later on, when he got like really big, I was like, I used to message with him. Like, that's so cool. And he's so funny. He's actually like a funny person. He doesn't just put up this front for like people and like the internet. He like is really funny, and that was really interesting. I think him working with him was dope, and him doing the dance and putting him on and like doing all that was extremely dope.
Yeah, it's definitely dope. I won't knock Drake for what he has done for some people and some artists from the scene, behind the scenes, but this last project, he better bang when this album come out. Right. That's when this album's supposed to come out in July. It better bang, because this last thing.
Have you been watching the verses?
Hey, yo, I watched them, but, you know, I've been performing every Saturday night. So it's like, you know, they come on before I go on. So I've been watching a little bit of it. It's, again, I can't sit still, so it's kind of boring to me. Like, I just wait till the next day when Tidal puts out the playlist and be like, yeah, I like this playlist. Yeah, I can't sit there for 2 hours and listen to them. But I can, a little bit, first couple of stories, be like, all right, cool. So yeah, I've been watching slightly.
Me too. I haven't been like sitting there and just like sitting it straight. I'll watch and I'm like, oh, this is interesting, and I'll listen. But just like you on Tidal, since they have the whole verses on there, like the next day or a couple days later, I just listen to it on there. I'm like, this is just much easier than sitting on my phone, because I like to, if I'm on my phone, I don't want to sit on one thing. I want to just like, I want to go on Instagram, I want to go on Twitter, I want to go on this, I want to go on that. I cannot stay on one thing and just do that.
Agreed.
So I feel that. So we're moving on to my last segment, which is the listener Q&A, but unfortunately I don't have any this week. So do you have a story, like a personal story or a question that you'd like answered by me?
What made you want to do a podcast? What made you want a podcast?
So, like I told you, I did YouTube videos and I thought that was really fun, but I did stories, like story times, and did stories on my life. And one day I was just like, I'm sick of editing so much, and I feel like I want to talk to people about more than just my life. I want to reach people and ask questions and get their opinions and have them interact. And I've been listening to podcasts for like 4 years. So I'm like, it just was something I wanted to do. And then last year I was like, okay, yeah, I think I'm going to do it. And then I kept saying, I think I'm going to do it. And then my daughter's father was like, you say you think you're going to do it. When are you going to do it? And then December, he got me my equipment. He was like, now you have no excuse. You have to do it. And I was like, okay. And then from there, I started the podcast with these 2 people, and then they flaked on me, and I was like, shit, like,
ain't that always the case?
And then at that point I was just like, this really sucks. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then I let some time pass, and I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? And then I joined a course to do podcasting, so I did that. And then after that, it was a wrap. I was like, so the other day, so I haven't launched yet. I've just done a bunch of interviews because I'm in the process of moving. I don't want, when I launch, to take any type of break. I don't want there to be any hiccups or anything like that. I want to be consistent. I want to just, when I go out full throttle. And
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that was pretty much my thing. So now at this point, I just want to reach as many people and talk to people and get to know people around the world. I've talked to so many people on the other side of the world in the past 4 days alone, from that one post and other posts from different groups. And It has been, and it's not just anybody, which is cool, because someone hit me up and they don't do anything. And I'm like, well, I can't have you on, not because like I don't want you to be on, but like, if you don't,
you're not that interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, well, if you don't have like,
you haven't done anything.
Yeah, I need you to be a creative. I need you to do something. Like, I'm so sorry. And then that was that. And I also like, there's like with everything going on, a lot of, and I'm not racist, and I have to say this in all of my, but I'm not racist, but like when it comes to like white people reaching out, depending on the group I put, I'm like, are you a Trump supporter? Not like immediately, but like if you go on their page and you see certain things, you're just like, dog, I can't, because that means that your values do not align with mine. And I bring him up a lot, not a lot, but like he does stupid shit, and in my shenanigans there could
it might be him.
And like I don't want to have any type of conflict with people, like, and that's good, like some conflict is fine, but like I don't want to be uncomfortable nor make another person feel uncomfortable, because I'm very opinionated and I do not want that type of drama. So yeah,
I feel it. But you did it good. Well, that's awesome, because the thing is you made a decision and you started. Shout out to your guy who bought the equipment and said get started. I tell everybody that want to start, get started. And that's the thing. You get better as you go. You be like, all right, now I need to change that and tweak that. Like I said, we used to have a 2-hour show, but it was a radio show too, so it was music in there. I took the music out and changed some of the topics and changed some of the segments and got it down to an hour. and made it listenable for people. If you're driving around Atlanta, it's 30 minutes to anything. So that's to and from, you're done. So that was my thought process. So I understand that. I'm glad that you started.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And again, I am very grateful to have you on and thankful. And I can't say thank you enough.
Indeed.
So let the people know where they can find you and all that good stuff one more time. Plug all your things and all that.
Awesome. Yeah, make sure you go to the website, jasoncarey.net. That's Carey. People get that wrong all the time. jasoncarey.net, no relation. Go to the merch store, get a t-shirt, get a mug, get something. Listen to the podcast. Hit the podcast link. Running the Point with the Jason Carey. Watch, listen, share. Sharing is still free. People don't know it. Amazing what you can do with the share button. Tell somebody about it. Also, Minds of Mischief. You can follow us, Minds of Mischief, on Instagram. Jason804 on Instagram. Jason804 on Twitter. Jason804 brand on Facebook. Please go by the page, like something, and on Saturday night, look for From the Club to the Living Room. From the Club to the Living Room with Genius and Jason. That's a good time. You guys, I had to send you a link or something. You gotta because all the shows are still up, so you can actually watch and see what we get into. From the Club to the Living Room on Saturday nights. And hey man, if anybody get married, holler at your boy. I travel across the world and do this, and I'd love to do it.
Yes, I will definitely be calling you in 10 years when I get married.
Hey, whenever it is, whatever it is. Look, you going to Florida? I'm all through that state on a regular basis. So hey, man, we may actually connect, and we'll get a chance to do it. I'll get a chance for you to be on my show as well.
Yes, absolutely. Let me know. I'm down.
Done deal. Yes, I'll wait till you get settled.
Perfect. That sounds good to me.
Indeed. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. And everyone else, please remember to subscribe and comment and rate us on iTunes, everywhere else that you listen to your podcast. And thank you for joining me on this amazing journey. We started this episode asking, do you need college to be successful? And to us, the answer was no. I mean, as long as you have a plan, a goal, and you're ready to achieve it, you can do it as long as it makes you happy. That's all you really need. And a really good work ethic, and it will get you far. So again, like I always say, remember to always keep an open mind and an open heart, and you'll be good. So till next time, toodles.
Peace.